All right, so you see what we got in the vise again. We got a 1/64 ounce number 8 J hook. We painted this one chartreuse, put a black eye on it, put a white pupil on it. You can go back to my other videos that show you how to put eyes on jig heads. Super simple, super effective, and honestly, I'm getting to the point where I like the painted on eyes better than I like the stick on eyes. I just like the way it comes out. It's very clean, very neat looking. But what we're going to be tying is another bluegill, shell cracker, trout jig, you know, whatever you want to call it. It's going to be, you know, a really small jig. Like I said, it's just, you know, not even a full inch long, more like, you know, 3/4 of an inch, 5/8 of an inch long. It's going to be really easy to tie. So let's start out with our base like we do on every jig we do, the Sally Hansen's Hard as Nails. All right, so we're going to coat the shank of that hook. I mean, it ain't gonna take much because this is a very small jig. And then we're gonna wrap it. We're gonna do a pink and kind of chartreuse jig with this. And that's about all we're gonna do for our wrap. We're gonna make sure we're gonna be careful that we're saving room to add all of our material. Trim off that tag end, and you can see some of that chartreuse powder paint's coming out through that thread, and what that's from is from that Sally Hansen's Hard as Nails. That powder paint don't want to stick to the shank of that hook. It will stick to that lead, but it does not like to stick to the shank of that hook. So you'll get a chemical reaction with that will actually cause that paint to liquefy again and come back out. But it's, you know, pretty simple. Just, you know, take your fingers or use a Q-tip and wipe that off, get that excess off there. So what we're going to do is we're going to use some rubber skirt material. We're going to use pink, and we're only going to use like 2 strands. So I just pinched together 2 strands. Probably made them a little bit too long, but we can always cut them off once we're done with this jig. So we're going to lay them right there on the back of the hook, and we're going to wrap those in. Sorry if I bumped the camera. Still ain't really got used to how that works, being in my way all the time. All right, so once we got a good little wrap on that, we're gonna put some flash in it. And I'm gonna put some going to be using can't offhand think of the color of this, but I think it's called Rainbow Flash. There's a lot of different colors in that. I think that's the color of its rainbow. Myself, if I would have named it, I'd have named it the 4th of July, because I don't know why, it's kind of what it reminds me of. So we're going to wrap that down really good. And we trim that flash off a little bit long too. We're going to do the exact same thing with that flash. We're going to trim it off when we trim that tail. So let's see here. Let's make that tail. I want to be careful when you trim it that you don't have it stretch real far, and then when you trim it, it sucks all the way back up in there. That's about all we're going to do for the length of that tail. And that's about all we're going to do for that flash, just like that. So that's what we got going. All right, our next thing is we're going to take a hackle feather, a chartreuse one. We're going to go down through there, and we're going to try to separate out all those fibers. We're going to get it all messed up looking. That is the look we're going for. We're going to take this end right here, and we're going to pull off those fibers where we just got the stem exposed. So once you got the stem exposed, this is actually going to be what we're going to use for our chenille. We're going to use that as our body material. So we're going to wrap that stem of that feather in there. We're going to do it pretty good and tight. We'll bring it all the way back up here to the head, and we're going to stop right there. So now we're going to take our hackle feather, and we're going to start twisting it around the body. And just keep pulling those wraps and pull them down in there, get them tight, overlap them. You know, the longer you make that feather, the more wraps you can get in there. Don't let it go, because if you let it go, you see what happens right there. But we're all right with that, because I didn't really like how I kind of wanted them a little bit closer together than that. But with the camera right there, it's hard to wrap that, hold on to it, and keep it all going. But we're doing it. And I know if I switch hands here, I'm gonna let it go. Make sure all your fibers are still staying pulled out. Get right up here to the neck. Go on the other side of your thread. Keep hold of it. Don't want to let go at this point. We're gonna wrap it right there behind the head. We're gonna pull that hackle feather over again, and we're gonna wrap it one more time. There we go. Now we got it. So I'm gonna go this side, this side, this side. Pull it back over. We're gonna build the collar up of that neck just a little bit too. We're gonna reach in there, cut that off. Put a couple more wraps in it. We're gonna whip finish it. We're gonna put a drop of UV resin on it. We're gonna cure it. And as soon as those bluegill around here get to spawning and start making beds, I know exactly where this one's going. And you can see this is absolutely the unedited version. I don't edit my jig time videos, so I want you to see exactly how I tie it, exactly what goes on. I accidentally cut the thread. I don't get the vise tight enough sometimes. Sometimes I cut too much off. Sometimes I don't cut enough off. Sometimes I don't like the jig when I get done with it. That is what we got. Take out the vise here and move it. There it is. We are going to call it the bluegill killer. And it's not quite as big of a profile as it looks like it is. But it's just a crazy, odd looking, buggy looking, bright colored jig that I believe will be super effective. It's easy to tie, and I did a lot of it with, minimum materials. 2 pieces of rubber from that tail, an old hackle feather that I probably would have thrown away, a little bit of flash stone in there, the pink tail. So I used the pink thread to go back through, so you kind of got that pink underbody inside of it. Just kind of, adds to the look of that. Some kind of makes it a little more believable that it's actually a bug, that it's actually a solid body. That is an extremely simple little jig to tie. And again, I'm now ready to see some bluegill making some beds, because I cannot wait to throw that one in there. Let me know what you think. Do you like it? Would you do it different? Let me know what you think, and if you don't mind, please like, share, subscribe. Every like, every subscription, every comment I get helps me keep this channel up and going, and I want to thank everybody that's subscribed to my channel so far, and everybody that has commented on my videos. I greatly appreciate that. I want to thank every one of y'all for helping me get my channel to where it is. It keeps me motivated to come up with something different and do something different from time to time to help you guys create your own baits instead of having to go out and buy them from a big box store or buying name brand stuff like that. So please hit that like, share, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and let you know when I put another video up. Until next time, that is all I got.